My Doctor, your health anytime, anywhere.
Hello, lovely people. Welcome to the My Doctor podcast. My name is Mwesigwa Joy, and I am your host. Thank you so much for tuning in. You already know what this podcast is about. We talk about health, all aspects of health. We're talking to health care workers. We're talking to the community about how they can keep healthy. We're talking to everyone who is in charge of making sure that we're all healthy, including you. So for today, we are going to have an interesting topic. We're going to be talking about things you should be knowing before you join medical school, or things we wish we knew before joining medical school. I'm still a medical student, and there's so many things that I learned on the job. So we are here to make life easier for you. If you want to venture into studying medicine or any course that is medical, we just want you to prepare yourself very well and know what you are for, both the good, which is a lot, and the bad, right? So today it's also a special day because we are crossing borders. We're going to be talking to someone all the way from West Africa. She's going to introduce herself. You're welcome, Dorcas.
Thank you, Joy.
How are you today?
I'm good.
Okay, could you introduce yourself to our viewers?
Hello, Joy's viewers and the My Doctor podcast viewers. So my name is Dorcas Chizaram Okeke. I am a Nigerian, Igbo to be specific. And yes, I'm currently a year 4 medical student studying Bachelor's of Medicine and Surgery in Uganda Christian University, and it's been amazing.
Okay. Thank you so much. You're very welcome. So I'll dig into the topic. But before we go there, I would want you to maybe tell us a bit of a background of why you wanted to do. You've said you're doing medicine, right? Why did you want to do it? When did it start? When did you get the passion? What inspired you?
What inspired me to do medicine? I remember, specifically it was a day we were in the car with my parents and with my dad. And at that point, I was still very confused about what I wanted to do. But my dad was watching this. I've forgotten whether it was a video or it was a picture, but the situation was that a lady had pushed 7 babies. So he was just so amazed by all that. So I was also very interested. I was like, oh my God, that's so amazing and all that. And before I knew it, my mom is telling me, by the way, you would look good as a gynecologist. So that was where it all started. So she planted the idea in my mind. And because I was already blank, I didn't have anything in my mind. So I started looking in that direction. And the journey has really been so amazing since then.
Okay. Yeah. So let's push forward to medical school, right? Before joining, what did you think it was like, because at least now you have an experience, you've been to the hospital, but before joining, what was your idea of everything?
Before joining, I know I've ever heard about people talk about the fact that medicine is a very hectic, course, but I used to see medicine as a very cool thing to do. Whenever someone says this person is a doctor, I'm like, oh my God, that's so cool. But, not that the course is not cool anymore, or the profession is not cool anymore, but there is less fantasy than I thought there is. I don't know if that makes sense, but I realized it's more of hard work, it's more of a lot of commitment, a lot of self-pushing and all of that, and it's not just about the fun of being seen as a doctor, being known as a doctor, and all the fancy things that come with it. So
Okay. So now we have reached medical school. What is the thing that shocked you the most? I'm also going to share mine, but I want to know yours. What was the thing that shocked you most about everything?
What shocked me most about everything? At the start or right now?
At the start.
At the start was actually, because my sister also studied medicine from UCU. She graduated. Shout out to Glow. Well, so she would tell me that, by the way, we have this room that has dead bodies and would use the dead, would literally cut the dead bodies to learn anatomy. And I would be like, how is that even possible? Is that possible? And she tells me, you get to a point where you actually sit in the same room and you eat with the dead bodies. And I was like, that's not possible. I remember ever saying I would never do that. But what actually shocked me that it is true. And when we came, and I remember the first day I walked into that room, like everything that what was in my head was, oh my God, what if someone wakes up? What if someone wakes up? And even till today, if no one is in that room, I can't sit there. But yeah, and then that was not
Up
even
to-
the shock.
To today.
Yeah, like if no one is in that room, I will first sit elsewhere until people come, then we shall all go there. Because I always, especially when it's like late evening, because I still have that thing in my head of what if someone wakes up. But anyway, so the shock to me is the fact that that actually eventually became like something I was very used to. And I'm so used to it right now that it no longer freaks me out. Like seeing those dead bodies no longer freaks me out. And the fact that we can transition, like we have actually transitioned from going through dead bodies to now being able to see those things in real life. Yeah, in real, yes. And, you know, observe or sometimes assist in those surgeries. Yeah. To me, that's a very big shock because those are things I looked at and I'm like, oh my God, I don't think I'll be able to do that. So yeah.
Now for me, it was also the cadavers, but now I didn't know they were dead bodies because I came earlier than everyone else. So the dean was taking me around and he showed me the lower part, the legs. I thought it was a dummy. I thought it was a dummy. And then it was after some time when we came back. So I wasn't fearing. Even when we came the next time, I was the one touching. They gave us those kits. I was the one who wanted to do everything. And everyone was scared. I was scared. I found out after when we had gone back. But anyway, but that's something you can overcome. So I would also want to ask, you're Nigerian, right? Why Uganda? We just want to know why cross all the way to come and study here?
Well, I think if I got $100 from every time I answered that question, I would have a house. I would have bought a land. But anyway, personally, okay, so far I've enjoyed my stay quite well, right? So, but what inspired me to come to UCU? Was I really inspired? I don't think so. Because it was just, I was just following a family trend. So me saying, oh my God, I saw UCU and I was inspired. I don't know about that, but I got here because my brother studied law from here. UCU as well. My elder sister also did medicine here. So my parents just fell in love with the school and the country. I think my dad is one of UCU's biggest fans. So, and I also think same too. I think UCU is very cool. Yes, it's cool, but it's also very calm. No striking, no rioting. The lecturers are very passionate to teach. Uganda, and whenever I tell someone this thing, they think yapping. But Uganda is actually a very peaceful country. Like, it's a very amazing country. And I keep telling people, you don't know what the Lord has done for you as Ugandans. But even in the midst of
Actually, could you tell us what you love most about Uganda before we go back to the medicine?
What I love most about Uganda, I don't know if I can pick one thing, but I know that I love Uganda, first of all, because it's peaceful. Like, I know people complain about the government and whatnot, which could be true and is a reality, right? But the fact that even in all that, like, it's something that goes on underground and it does not have people thinking about what if I don't wake up tomorrow morning, or like it does not have people being scared to go to bed. Yeah, that's something that certain parts of my country does not get to
Enjoy.
Yeah. So, and I think that's something that has really given me so much peace living in this country. And then another thing is the fact that Ugandans are actually very warm. I remember when I had just come, I was at the main campus and then I realized people come to class and they are hugging each other. I realized Ugandans are so warm. You know, they are very humane in their behavior. You guys, you hug each other, you tell each other nice things. But like, I realized that's something you guys normalize and it's normal, right? And personally, I think that's like really warm. Yeah, Ugandans are just nice and warm. Yeah.
Shout out to Ugandans. Anyway, so back to our medicine. So we're walking through the journey. You are shocked by the cadavers. What was something that maybe excited you?
What excited me was the fact that we eventually got to use stethoscopes. Because I think one thing that made me think doctors are cool was the fact that they would have stethoscopes around their necks, and that had me excited, but I was not even sure what it was for. I know it's used to listen to something, but I was not sure of, how it works. Just the aesthetics was what excited me. So in year 3, that was the most exciting thing for me. Like eventually having to own a stethoscope, and I'm like, oh, that's my steth. I think that has been my highlight so far.
I think my highlight was wearing scrubs. That medical. I haven't had a photo shoot.
Yeah, I remember.
Anyway, so okay, so what would you want? What do you wish you knew before you join medical school? Like, what are some tips? Like, if someone is out there and they want to join or any field of medicine, what are some of the tips that you would want them to like pick up before they join for an easier experience?
What I think they should know. Okay, it still goes back to, because I was telling a friend of mine recently that I wish I listened to my mom earlier. My mom before, she calls us for, briefing before you go to university for each of us. And when it was my turn, she was telling me that, she just said something, and she said, if you want to graduate with a first class, your preparation should start on your day 1 of year 1. So she said that to me, but I was like, man, this chick she's just overdoing it. She's just being too zealous and all that. But I think I'm at a point where I wish I understood that time, right? I'm not that I'm doing badly in my grades. I'm really grateful to God for where I am right now. But I know that if I started on day 1 year 1, I'm probably graduating with a 5.0. But yeah. So one thing that I really think everybody out there who wants to join the medical course should know is that starting early to build your grades is the trick. It's the hack. Yeah. Because you get to a point where there is nothing you can do to get. Let me say, for instance, let's assume if my CGPA is at 3.5, right? Even if I start, because I'm currently in year 4, semester 2, right? Which means I have only 3 semesters left. If I at this point wake up and I'm like, oh my God, I think I really would love to graduate with a 4.8, it is not possible, because I'm at 3.5. I have only 3 semesters left, and my final grades would be a compilation of everything. So it's like you set your goal in the beginning, and you begin that early to work towards it, like to work for it. And I think it works. It helps for sure. And also another thing I think people who want to join the medical course should know is that it needs a lot of self-discipline. It needs a lot of self-push. It needs a lot of intentional dedication, yeah? Because the course is complex, yeah? I don't want to say it's hard, because it's doable, yeah? It's doable. It's something that someone can actually do if they really want to do it. But because of how complex it is, it needs extra time. It needs extra push. It needs you to be intentional about going for it. Yeah. So when you do all that and put it in place, then it makes it easier. Okay, not easier, but it makes it more realistically doable. Yeah. I don't know if that makes sense. Yeah. So I think, specifically that.
Okay. And then fast forward to, because there are stages of medical school. So fast forward to going to hospital, because for the first 2 years, for whoever is watching, the first 2 years are clinical. Pre-clinicals. Yeah. So you're just in class. Then the third year, for most universities, you go to the hospital, you go on to ward. So how best can we prepare people going to ward? Like, what tip would you give? Before we start, there's something called percussion, where anyway, you talk about I'll let you talk about that.
What people who are going to clinical years should know? Yes. Well, people who are going to clinical years should know that it is okay that you do not know everything at the point where you are. Like, I think that is so important, because personally, I used to feel low whenever, like she was saying, they percuss me on word and I mess up. Sometimes in the beginning when we had just started, because we started rotating with PED. At the beginning, I would, it would spoil my day. I would, think about the fact that I may not be the best person for this profession? What am I doing here? Am I really supposed to be here? Why don't I know this? Why don't I know this? But then I got to a point and I understood that where I am right now, yes, there are things I'm supposed to know, but it's possible and it is okay even if I don't know those things, yeah, which I'm eventually going to pick them along the way, right? So that's something that I got to understand, and I actually realized that by the time I finished with that rotation, those things that I didn't know in the beginning, I eventually knew. Yes, so I was like, okay, so why was I really feeling bad if I would eventually pick it on the way, yeah? And then another thing that I think people who are going to the clinical year should know is that there are very few doctors, or none at all, who would percuss you or like say things that would sound mean to you and they actually mean them. Yeah. Personally, I believe that nobody actually says mean things and they mean them.
Hey.
Yeah.
I was watching some video and then they were talking about the worst thing that a doctor has ever said to someone. And then the person was, like you're in a word round and then you have the year 3s, year 5s, the MOs, and then the people doing postgraduate. So he asked a question and no one knew. So he called the postgraduates to the front. And then, so he was asking the question no one knew. So he told them, he was like, so when I look at you, you have the skin, you have the skull and nothing under. When I look through one ear, I can see what is in the other ear.
My days.
So there's anyway, maybe they don't mean it. Okay, let's take it.
Okay, so my point is, I don't think they actually mean it. Okay, so I don't think anyone says mean things and they mean them, right? I think people just do not know how to express themselves. Does that make sense?
That's a good school of thought.
Yeah. So I think someone wants to say something, but they just lack the ability to put nice vocabulary to bring it out. You get? It's like someone telling me, instead of saying, oh my God, I think your dress is short, you could actually change it. That's what you would say to me if I had to, you get, rather than telling me, bro, you really came to show skin. I hope they rape you and you learn your lessons. You get. So, but what's this person trying to tell me? My dress is short. Okay. I'm sure they didn't mean that they wish I'm actually raped. They just didn't have the right words to put it out here, which does not justify it. And anyway, I'm digressing, but yeah. So my point is that, so most of these doctors, they say those things to us on word. Okay, that's something I realized recently, yeah, which I wish I knew earlier, because if I knew it earlier, maybe some of the doctors will still be my friends, but
anyway. Okay,
yeah.
okay. So what are some of the challenges probably that you faced in med school through the journey?
As a medical student, the challenges I think I faced as a medical student was deciding on how to catch up, deciding on how to eventually be at the same pace as, as the schedules, yeah, which is something that took me, I think, the whole of year 1 to year 3. Yeah, because I keep telling myself at the beginning of the semester, oh, I actually think I should start reading early this semester so that I don't get things piled up for me at the end of the semester. And I failed at it for every single semester. I failed at doing that. And to me, that was a very big challenge, because it made me lazy. It made me procrastinate. It made me, not hit my goals and all that. But yeah, I thank God, by the grace of God, I'm gradually overcoming the challenge. And anyway, I think it's a common challenge to everybody, because yeah.
But you're doing good. So, and also, do you get time for like social life? And because you're talking, the whole podcast where I'm talking about books, I read in the beginning, I did this. When do you, and maybe for like the picture you've seen from the rest of the students, do you get time for social life? Or it's books when you join medical school? Because mental health matters.
Yes, mental health matters. However,
yeah. Okay. I'm listening.
I might be the wrong person to ask this question. But social life. Okay, first of all, I'm not someone who goes out a lot or likes going out that much. So my social life has really been about my close friends, basically. Hanging out with my close friends once in a while. Yeah, depending on who is having like an outing and is close to me and I get to go out with them and all of that. And actually lately, and by lately I mean over like a year, 2 years. Yeah, lately it's been this one babe. Her name is Joy. So it's just so it's been this one babe. Her name is Joy, of which we would go out like just once in the semester, and which is sometimes like at the end of the semester. And she's like, "Man, I actually think we should go out to, reward ourselves for the whole semester." And that has really been my social life, and I'm not complaining about it. I'm really grateful for that, and for me, that's very okay. Yeah, because I think just because I'm not a social person, but would I advise someone to have a social life? Yes, I really would. So the fact that I'm not doing is not because I think it's wrong. Yeah, it's just getting the right circle and doing a healthy stuff as your social life. Yeah. So personally, I think
Healthy.
my social life,
Healthy. Expound on that.
Okay, by healthy, I mean, going out to, let's say for instance, going out to like a restaurant just to sit and chat and eat and laugh and just have a good time with genuine friends is very amazing. Yes. As opposed to that, going out and all you do is, okay, I'm going to start from the very minute thing that people don't want to talk about, but going out with, first of all, people whom you are not really friends with. Like, let me say, for instance, you go out with someone because, like, not because you are their friend and because you like them. Maybe you're going out with them. Maybe, okay, it may sound weird because it rarely happens, but I know it does because I've seen it happen a few times. Like, you go out with someone, not because you actually really want to go out with them, but just because there is a part of them that you want to see.
I think the entire episode I'm going to be like, expound more, please.
Okay, let me say for instance, you go out with your friend. Let me say for instance, I have let me use you as an example. Let's say I'm your friend, right? And then someone comes to me and they're like, by the way, do you know that this chick, she does this and this and this when she's drunk and what not? And I'm like, hey, okay. And then I initiate an outing so that we go for an outing and I see that and I record that and I put on my social media. You get, yeah. So that is what I think is not healthy. Yes. And then also other things that we all know are not healthy, like drinking to stupor and, getting drunk, smoking your lungs away. Yes. Yeah. And that's just from my little medical knowledge that I have right now, especially currently that I don't know if it's just me, but the fact that lately, especially in urology, we've been doing only cancers in urology,
alcohol
bro.
And smoking. Yeah.
So that really has me scared on behalf of, so on behalf of people who smoke, people who, take alcohol excessively, yeah, because I'm like, okay, if for each of these cancers, these are the risk factors. So does that mean that all of these people eventually are potential candidates for these diseases? Yeah. So by healthy, I mean outings which are healthy both for your spiritual life, outings which are healthy for your mental life, and outings which are healthy for your health, like your physical health. Yeah. So yeah, basically that.
Okay. And then also you're doing leadership right now. Kind of. Yeah, you're doing leadership right now. So would you encourage someone to venture into leadership? How is that? And how do you balance? Because medicine is also needs its own time, but the leadership needs its own time, the social life needs its own time, spiritual life, everything requires time. So how do you balance? Probably advice for someone who could be overwhelmed.
So about, I'll start from the first question. So the first question asked about leadership. Would I advise anyone to venture into leadership? Well, I think it depends on the individual, because not all of us have the ability to cope with being a leader and doing what you are supposed to do, right? So, and leadership comes with its own baggage, like its own, responsibilities and all of that. So, if someone is not able to make both of them work, you realize that you are going to put yourself so much in leadership that you start losing your academics, which, by the way, should be like a priority in your life at that time. Yeah. Okay. Maybe if someone was a politician, then they decided to first come and do school as they are still politicians and they are like 40. For them, academics is not really their own priority, right? But let's say for a 22-year-old or a 21-year-old, at this time of your life, you're supposed to be doing school, right? So if you look at the leadership position and you know that the moment you start doing this leadership thing, your grades will start dropping, I think it's better to save it for maybe when you are more mature and when you think you can actually handle it and balance it. And then about how to balance, like for everything, every single aspect of our lives, I think setting your priorities is like for me, that's what has worked for me, right? So I know that in my life, I'm here to study, but also, so this is for me, right? But it may not work for everybody. Yeah. So, but personally, I know that I'm here to study, but also, I also have things I'm supposed to be doing for God, right? So, if I really want to serve God, like I really want to do ministry and all of that, but also I need to do my academic work. Okay, let me just give a serious example, a more realistic example. So, personally, I minister with the school team, right? And I am the religious minister at school, and I am also a medical student, right? So how I try to balance those is that, let's say we have a worship night coming up as the worship team, and I have a test in the same week. So what I do is that I have to create extra hours that will not kick into my time for practice. Yeah. So let's say, for instance, if I would ideally sleep like at 10 on a normal day, during that week, because I know I have a paper to prepare for, I stay up extra hours to read, so that when it's 4 to 5 time for practice that I would usually use to read, I will actually attend practice. Yeah. Because I already read what I would have read in that time. Yeah. And that's because, to an extent, both of them are kind of up in my list of priorities. Yeah. And I wouldn't want to jeopardize one for another. Yes. And then about the guild leadership thing, I try to understand my limits. Like I try to understand the farthest I can go. Right. So let's say a practical example was this week. I think we had a guild meeting, an abrupt guild meeting. But then the next day we had a paper. Yes. So was it the next day? Actually, it was yesterday. We had a paper in the afternoon. There was the meeting in the morning. Now that was something I knew. Realistically, I can't attend this, because I know that if I attend this, I will miss out on my last minute revision, which is very crucial to me for my paper. Yeah. So it's just putting, setting priorities. Yes. And Bambi, it's not like you abandon your duties disrespectfully. You don't even abandon the duty. If there is something that you are supposed to do, the best thing I think one can do is to delegate. Yes. So because you abandoning your duty, then why did you pick up the post in the first place? Yes. So it's possible to do other things and also do medicine and do all of that. But it's just knowing, when will doing this cost me this? Yeah. So if you're not able to show up for your work, if you're not able to show up for your leadership position, delegation usually helps. Yeah. I think that's how I've been able to do it. I don't know.
So lastly, what is your best meal in Uganda? That sounds off topic. But we just want to know, like, you've tested a Rolex, you've tested Matoke, or something that you guys don't have that is your best.
What does Nigeria not have? Well,
Plantain?
yeah, we have plantain.
Yeah, you have plantain.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the same thing as Matoke.
It's not.
Okay. Anyway, so I think one thing that I have really enjoyed in Uganda is Rolex. And I think Rolex is a wonder. And
it's a wonder.
specifically the Rolexes from Mukono. I don't know what those guys put in their Rolexes, but their Rolexes are so nice. Yeah. I used to like G-Nuts a lot. But I think I overate it and now it tastes like the rest of the meals. Yeah, but I think one that has stayed up there. Yeah.
So when you go back, represent us. You know how to make it, I'll teach you. Okay, so we have come to the end of the episode. Thank you so much for discussing this and telling us your story and everything. So I'd want you to give the people advice or like your last word to the people before we end the episode.
Hi people, once again. So my advice to all of us, because I would also be talking to myself as well, is number one, get around people who believe in you, get around people who push you, get around people who motivate you. And I say that as I also say to myself, but then I say that because I've actually been around people who really do push me and motivate me and believe in me. And the fact that, okay, where I am a product of someone believing in me, yeah. My family, by the way, shout out to my family. Those guys believe in me a lot. Someone was telling me, and I think your dad, I think your parents think you are the best medical students in the country. And I just, God, I beg, amen. But anyway, but yeah, so my parents really do, my family actually, my entire family really does believe in me a lot. But specifically, oh my God, there is that one friend from high school. Oh my God, shout out to Ebele Onuchuko Kenwa. That babe kept telling me that because at high school, I used to be in the first 5, then I dropped into the first 10. I just kept, dancing around. Yeah. And she would call me, she would sit me down and she's like, by the way, do you know that you are wasting God's resources? I'm like, what do you mean, bro? And she would always tell me that she thinks I can do better than I was doing at that time. And whenever she says it, I would get mad because I thought like she was just like, I kept saying, but I'm doing my best and you're just not seeing it, right? But then when I came to uni, it was just one day, it just hit me, like what she kept saying and saying, it just hit me. And I thought about it and I was like, what if this is true? Because she kept saying, you just don't do enough that you need to do better. So after I thought about it, I decided, let me give it a try. Let me try to push myself to do beyond what I would normally do. And I have seen that has actually pushed me to a better place. Yeah. And then...
Could you repeat the name?
Ebele Onuchuko Kenwa.
Okay. Be bad.
Yes. So, and then lastly is to every believer and every potential believer, yeah, under the sound of this podcast, a very serious advice is to befriend the Holy Spirit. Like, just make God your friend, make the Holy Spirit your friend. And I say that because he has actually helped me a lot, reminding me of things I've read, helping me pay attention to things that I need to know, helping me grasp and understand complex things, giving me ideas on things I have no clue about in a paper. Yeah. Anyway, I know this babe wants to pretend that we don't know each other, but we actually know each other. And and
why?
Yes, because when I speak, especially this particular one, she also experiences the same. And if not that she is the host, she would also be telling you the same thing. But yeah, it's really amazing to, have that relationship with God and the Holy Spirit, because it helps. Like, I'm looking for the words to make it sound better, but there are actually no words to make it sound better. It's just amazing. It's very beautiful, and it makes medicine possible. It makes medicine more doable. He makes medicine more doable, and I'm really grateful to God for that.
Okay, thank you so much, Dorcas, for coming to be part of this show. I am sure we have I don't even know. We have seen your perspective of Uganda. We have seen your perspective of medicine. We have heard your story. And I'm sure it's going to inspire someone out there. To our viewers, thank you so much for staying till this point. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you've learned a thing or two. Even if you're not going to venture in medicine, at least I'm sure you've picked something, right? Even from the advice that we have had at the end, have healthy outings, right? Have healthy outings. Befriend God. And keep the right company around you. Thank you for watching this far. My name is Mwesigwa Joy. This is the My Doctor podcast. My Doctor, your health, anytime, anywhere.
My Doctor, your health, anytime, anywhere.